Welcome back to the story of Once Human. This series follows a cinematic take on the story and lore of Once Human in sequence that covers specifically the main story quest. After the escape of the festering gel-like deviant, we're on the trail to follow our first and only lead. We need to track the deviant's path through the physical world, uncertain of what kind of havoc it may cause. First, V suggests we head towards a monolith, a giant, tech-centric structure that Rosetta built to gather supplies and information on what has happened in the near 20 years since their ambitions first went off the rails. These monoliths were intended to access, hone, and contain transcendent deviants across the rifts between worlds, but they ended in catastrophic failures from what we've seen so far. We make our way to the base facility just outside the first monolith in the vicinity. Our scavenging is interrupted by another individual who seems to have found her way to the same goal.
Hands off my stuff! You're pretty cocky for someone who doesn't even have a weapon. Quite impressive, to be honest. Hold on. Is that a cradle on your back? Are you a mayfly? How interesting. I thought I was the only mayfly left. I'm Mary. It's a good thing I met you. I'm thinking as fellow mayflies, we should be able to help each other out. I came here to investigate a deviation that's been causing issues. I think it's connected to a recently reopened monolith nearby. Don't tell me you're going to try and take on a powerful deviation bare-handed. Even an ordinary deviant could tear you apart right now. You're pretty inexperienced, aren't you? I'm going to give you a blueprint. Use it to make yourself a gun. Trust me, you'll need one if you want to stand even half a chance of surviving out there. While you're doing that, I have other matters to attend to. Once you're done, come find me in Deadsville. It's the nearest survivor settlement. We can plan our next steps from there. After all, 2 heads are better than 1, and I'd never turn down help.
So another mayfly survived, and I can't remember her. My memory's been patchy ever since Mitsuko revived me, just to be safe. We better not share the existence of Mitsuko with that woman. That blueprint is rock solid, though. We can use it to make a real gun. Let's check your memetics, and start by building a gear workbench.
While skeptic, we're in no position to turn down help, especially better weapons and equipment. She also recognizes us as a mayfly and claims to be one as well, the only one remaining at that. We take the blueprints from Mary and agree to meet her at a nearby survivor settlement called Deadsville. V is also skeptical and doesn't recall Mary as a mayfly, so we decide it best not to mention our origin, purpose, or Mitsuko. V guides us through using the memetics that Mitsuko has granted us through the cradle, the building and research tech we'll use to make our mark and improve our tactics on and off the battlefield. Through this, we can use the blueprints Mary gave us to better equip ourselves for the journey ahead.
Great, we can use that blueprint to make both guns and ammo.
With a small piece of Nalcott carved out for ourselves and some new hardware in hand, we turn our attention back to the task, while V gives us more guidance around using teleportation and communication towers to navigate the island.
Good. I'm sure you'll need that weapon soon enough. Wait, I just noticed a teleportation tower was activated at Deadsville. Did Mary do that? We can use it to teleport straight there. Open your map and try it out. Activating teleportation towers will let us get to places much faster and avoid any dangers along the way.
On arrival in Deadsville, we regroup with Mary.
Good. You made it. I'm guessing that gun served you well. Yeah, this was the quickest way to bring you here. These towers are even supposed to let you travel between worlds, but I haven't been able to figure out how. Maybe you'll have more luck. Either way, I'm glad it got you here. Deadsville is the perfect place to dig up info on the area. That merchant over by the old truck looks like she gets around. Maybe she knows something useful.
She directs us to inquire with the other settlement survivors. The first of them is a wandering merchant named Claire Lowe, who's concerned about a sortie team who left town a few days ago.
Come take a look. Anything that catches your eye, I'm always open for business. Wait, I've never seen you before, but you're a mayfly, ain't you? Oh, thank goodness. I could really use some help. My name's Claire Lowe. Normally I'm a wandering merchant, but now I'm stuck here. I sent a team over to a place called the Rotten Manor 3 days ago to collect some goods for me, but they never came back.
It's possible that they ran off with the goods.
Don't be so cynical. I've been through thick and thin with them. They wouldn't do that to me. I'm afraid that something must have happened to them. Rumor is the Rotten Manor's seen a surge of deviants recently. I suspect there's a deviation behind it. All I know is what I heard from that well-dressed gentleman over there. He should be able to tell you more.
There's no question. That guy stands out. We'd better talk to him and see what he knows.
Good luck. Oh, and I'll happily pay a reward if you can recover my stuff for me. I'll mark Rotten Manor on your map. Make sure to stock up on ammo before you go, all right?
Claire refers us to another dweller named Samuel Lowe, who might be able to tell us more about what may have happened to Claire's group. Aside from Lowe's uncanny knowledge, he's also seemingly an expert on deviations.
And know the place for the first time, through the unknown, unremembered gate. Ah, a mayfly, and one who seems to be brimming with potential. A pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Do you know about a deviation affecting this area?
You've come to the right man. I am Samuel Lowe, a humble scholar specializing in the fascinating phenomena we call deviations. And as for you, you seek keys with which to unlock the Dark Tower, don't you? But I'd be wary of what else you might open up.
Do you always speak in riddles like this?
I was merely setting the mood. The world still deserves something poetic. Don't you think? Now, you're interested in the deviation inside that monolith, aren't you? But the tower is locked up tight, and its keys are rift anchors across the wetlands.
Rift anchors. Those things are made by Rosetta, aren't they? Activating them should give us access to the rift space inside the monolith.
Spot on. And now tell me, where do you think those anchors would be?
Usually places with the heaviest stardust pollution. The Rotten Manor would definitely be one of them.
Indeed. I'm looking forward to seeing what you can do, Mayfly. I'm sure it will be a remarkable story to share. By the way, I wouldn't mind adding another deviation to my collection.
With Lowe's info and some new leads, we split tasks with Mary to continue our investigation, while she looks into the monoliths and how we might access them.
Now that we know what to do, let's split up to cover more ground. I'll find a way to hack into the monolith. Once you've activated the rift anchors, come meet me at the monolith gate. Just don't forget to bring plenty of ammo. That place must be packed with deviants. Oh, and one more thing. I have a motorcycle here you can use. That should help speed things along.
We saddle up on our new bike, courtesy of Mary, and head off to investigate the Rotten Manor and what fate met Claire's scouting group.
The stardust concentration here is off the charts. We should set up a campsite before rushing into the rotten matter. That way we can recover more quickly if anything goes wrong.
For the first time, we're heading into the heavy pollution of stardust, so we take V's suggestion and set up camp to avoid prolonged exposure as much as we can.
I think we found Claire's goods. Too bad her team didn't make it, though. Look at this substance. It must have come from that festering gel deviation.
Now that we know the escaped festering gel has a part to play in the havoc that is manifesting around Deadsville and here in the Dayton Wetlands, we have a better idea of what we're up against. No sooner then, but we are faced with a doppelganger of our first transcendent Great One, a powerful shade of the deviant that is contained within the monolith. Each of these doppelgangers provides a trace or echo of the imprisoned Great One, in this case, the Ravenous Hunter.
There it is, the rift anchor. Let's take a closer look.
We activate the nearby rift anchor, which gives V some more context on how they work together.
Nice and easy. Well done. I've noticed some other strange stardust readings elsewhere. Quite similar to what we encountered here. I've marked their locations. Hopefully, we'll find the other rift anchors there.
We set out to activate more rift anchors in the Dayton Wetlands so we can access the rift space monolith and quell the threat of the Ravenous Hunter. Once we've completed activating all 4 rift anchors, we're ready to head back and liaise with Mary to catch up on her part of the investigation.
Nice work with the rift anchors. I guess you're the real deal after all. Sounds tough, but I think it was worth it. And I've made some discoveries regarding the deviation as well. Each time a rift anchor was activated, there was an obvious reaction inside the monolith. The deviation must be holed up inside. Let's go in together this time. I'm curious about that troublemaker inside. And besides, we're a team. I brought some ammo, and meds for us as well. Now, let's go.
Mary seems to be endearing herself as part of our team. We agree to tag team whatever awaits us on the inside of the monolith. As we near the monolith, the strength and volume of the infestation of deviants is clearly more potent. Finally, we make our way into the Rosetta Monolith facility to meet up with Mary there, who seems to have turned the corner on her faith and trust in our abilities.
You made it. I knew I could count on you. You're quite good at handling deviants, aren't you? I gotta say, you've proven yourself to be a good teammate.
After a quick gear check, we're ready to enter the Rift Beacon and face the Ravenous Hunter. As we step through into Rift space, we see the horrific nature of this particular deviant Great One, as well as how the escaped festering gel has been captured and used to augment its supernatural powers.
Shouldn't have tried to take what was yours.
Forgive us. You are truly a great one.
Mercy, please.
Even without their submission. We are still waiting.
We witness the fall of a mayfly as a ravenous hunter absorbs his soul and his weapons into itself, as it seems to have done with all previous challengers, including Claire's scouting team. Finally, the Ravenous Hunter is defeated, and we discover a holding cell beneath the monolith, much like the one we were awakened from in the beginning, a chronocage. As we investigate further, we find that this is a gateway that Mitsuko mentioned where the stardust is stabilized so we can communicate with her again.
You did it! I knew you could. I don't know why I was so worried. Thank you. This really means a lot to me. The fluctuations in stardust seem to have grown calmer, and I feel stronger now.
The more deviations we contain, the more the world will stabilize, and the more Mitsuko's power can grow. We still have 5 more monoliths to shut down. Until then, the physical world remains too dangerous for Mitsuko.
Yes, but this is already a huge step forward. You've done your best, and we are already starting to see a change. But the mayflies were wiped out by Rosetta. All because of me. I was too weak to save them.
It wasn't your fault. None of us were ready to take Rosetta head-on. And Rosetta's not the only threat out there. The Great Ones also covet Mitsuko's power. So remember, keep everything involving her a secret. We don't know who we can trust.
After defeating and containing this deviant, we now know what we must do to confine the remaining transcendents, restoring Mitsuko's strength and re-establishing the mayflies. V also remains skeptical about other people in the mix and reiterates that we should keep Mitsuko's existence and our true mission to Inner Circle only. V also remains skeptical about other people in the mix and reiterates that we should keep Mitsuko's existence and our true mission to Inner Circle only. Finally, Mitsuko is able to infuse us with more advanced tech through use of our cradle and her growing strength. As our own power grows, we can deploy these new technologies to gear up and prepare for the next stage of our mission and secure the captured festering gel. We return to Deadsville to debrief the team there on the outcome at the Monolith of Greed. Claire suggests that we should join her on the road to Myers Market, where we can confer with the other settlers and continue the investigation around the next nearest Rosetta monolith.
Hey, you're back. Any luck? Yeah, I see what you're trying to say. I figured things went wrong when my team didn't come back, but I still had my hopes, you know? Don't worry about me. I've been through the ringer plenty of times before. I still owe you my thanks for finding out what happened, and for bringing back my stuff. Here's the reward I promised. I'm a woman of my word. Well, now that that's settled, I think I'll move my trade over to the Broken Delta. If you need anything, come find me in Myers Market there.
Lowe is clearly more interested in the effects of the festering gel on the Dayton Wetlands and how we can continue to research, capture, and collect more friendly deviations.
Bravo! The mayfly that brought down the fearsome Ravenous Hunter. Hard to imagine such a little bit of gel transforming into such a monstrous creature, isn't it? Yet the most unbelievable part is that it managed to cause such chaos across the wetlands, simply by spreading its memetics. Just to make sure, you didn't destroy it, did you? Fantastic. You've more than proven yourself. I'm very impressed. It's a shame that most people in this world don't appreciate the beauty of these fascinating entities. But clearly you are different. You already have a natural touch with deviations. I dare say you could even become an expert. I'd be glad to share my knowledge of deviations with you. In return, capture as many of them as you can for me. I simply pay attention and use my imagination. And you know, I think the deviations respect that. To quote a favorite poem of mine, I know that I exist because you imagine me.
We see that Mary has already moved on ahead but left an update on a new lead she's following. Conveniently, it adds up with Claire's travel plans.
Looks like you'll be able to handle yourself just fine. I'll leave the deviation in there to you. As for me, I'm headed to the Broken Delta. I found traces of another major deviation there. One with even worse effects. You should head over and check it out. Try asking around at a settlement called Myers Market. Maybe I'll see you there.
I'm glad we can make this place a bit safer, but it's time to move on. Before we set out for Myers Market, though, we'd better upgrade our weapons and armor. Things might be even more dangerous over there. We could also relocate our territory to make things easier.
And thus, we are well on our way to continue the search for more transcendent Great Ones, the more potent deviants drawn from Rosetta's misadventures, and the quest to restore Mitsuko's strength and reinstate the Mayflies as a force for good and order in a world that exists alongside deviations while containing the spread of deviants and the cataclysmic effects of stardust pollution on the physical world. I'm Twin Six and Ties, and if you like this cinematic breakdown and telling of the once human storyline, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it out. Really appreciate your help, and stay tuned for episode 3 as we continue to explore the story of Once Human.